Hello there, Mr. Jones. How are you today?
Very well, thank you, young lady.
That's great to hear. I just want to disclose very quickly this is an interview that is going to be grading or showing my skills, my abilities to have a conversation and be able to gather information. Is that okay with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. So I want to start by asking you, what has been troubling you lately?
Veterans Administration.
Oh, and how does that make you feel? What's happening that is troubling you?
Well, I went to the hospital, emergency room,
Mm-hmm.
and they said I had a heart failure.
Mm-hmm.
So I was admitted to the hospital, and while I was in the hospital, I became very sick. I had a lot of spew. I had 2 water cups full of spew,
Wow.
and had a headache. And when the nurses asked me did I drink coffee, I said I might drink 2 small cups of coffee a week. And she stated, well, you just have a coffee hangover. And then they said they were going to release me. I said, well, what about my cough and my spew?
Mm-hmm.
They said the doctor said release me. So they released me. I went down into my car, found out I was sick, went to the emergency room, and I was diagnosed with bronchitis. So I was given a shot and some pills. 2 weeks go by, still the same condition. I had an appointment with my primary doctor. I go see them. They just gave me the same set of pills that I was given by the emergency room. So then since it didn't clear up, I go back to the emergency room. My new emergency doctor this time gave me an x-ray of my chest and said I had double pneumonia. So then that gave me a different set of antibiotics, and after 6 weeks, my pneumonia cleared up.
Wow. I'm so sorry to hear. I'm sorry that you're going through these. Based on what you're telling me, I'm gathering that when you went to the VA, they released you ahead of time without giving you a proper diagnosis of what issues you were having. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, I'm so sorry about that. Are you better now?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's good to hear. And what other issues have you been experimenting with the VA that has you raged, if we may be able to say?
Oh, goodness. Such a plethora of them. Um, I'm a disabled veteran, and I have my body has been twisted because of my injury, and so they send me through they send me through these different classes, and the main thing they say is that I'm too overweight, and of course you agree with them. And then, so when I request to have a X-ray, or they give me X-ray or a CT scan or MRI, they balk on that because they claim that all that is a one time in one motion of time. So it's just a huge uphill battle with it. So it's not like they don't. It seems they do not give you preventive measures. They wait till you're pretty well ill or distressed before they will at least look at you.
Oh, so you have actually gotten to the point of feeling distressed by this whole situation, right? Because based on what you're telling me, they wait until the scenario just becomes irreparable in order for them to start working towards the issue. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, I'm so sorry about that. What emotions have you been dealing through all of this? Because you have mentioned that you're not feeling great about the whole situation, about the overall experience. Have you gone within yourself and, examine yourself and actually take a look at those feelings? Have you taken the time to consider maybe working on that situation?
Patience is a virtue.
Oh, so you've been patient all along?
You have to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. It's one of those things that when you're not under control, you need to gather the strength from when you don't have it and be able to, start working on certain skills. So you think like overall this experience more than just only distress you has helped you be able to find patience within yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. It does. That is very admirable, and I think that is a skill that takes a lot of time to develop. So for you to be able to have found patience through the turmoil, the pain that you're feeling in your body, everything you're going through is really admirable. Now, is there anything in particular you have noticed about yourself throughout this process that you wish you could work on?
Me personally, no, I just wish that the VA would look at the veterans not as a whole, but as an individual person. It seems like they read a book and you have to check the box before they will do anything.
Wow. So it does sound like at this point it's something that is completely out of your control, and you have been trying to do as best as you can to go throughout this situation without being emotionally affected. Is that correct?
That's what I try to do, yes ma'am.
But do you ever feel like within you sometimes you lose a little control where you found yourself raged about the situation?
You don't get enraged. I just go down the rabbit hole and don't worry about it.
Oh, wow. But do you think that could be a sign of you trying to evade your feelings about the situation? Because sometimes we do need to face, what we're going through and admit certain feelings, because just storing our feelings away could potentially just create a turmoil within us, trying to suppress those feelings, if I may say.
That's true, but if you go to the VA and you express your feelings and the way you feel, then you will be considered trying to think what they call.
A trouble patient?
Exactly, a troubled patient, and then you will be probably limited with what you can and can't get.
Oh, I see. And I understand the issue much better now. And it's normal, to be anger and raged and feel all these other certain emotions. But I really do admire how you keep your peace and control throughout the situation. Has there been any other aspects? You did mention that they consider you obese for your body type. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and does that make you feel like they're attacking you personally?
No, the truth hurts. No, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You can't let the truth get in the way of reality.
Mm-hmm. Do you think maybe they could possibly word it differently, or is obesity something you're okay being called in this scenario?
No, but I mean they read the book, and you got these bodies, some acronym, and that's what it says obese. So they just, say the word that the book tells them to say.
So you have personally accepted these terminology in your life.
Well, you have to. It's the way the world is.
And have you been taking any precautions in reference to this particular area of your life that they have diagnosed you with? Anything that you're doing particular to particularly to just improve this area of your life to just get out of being categorized as obese?
Well, yes, ma'am.
Such as what?
Try to lose weight.
What methods have you been using? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Don't eat so much of my son's food. He's a great cook.
Really? What kind of
Yes, ma'am.
food does he make?
You name it, he can cook it.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am.
Does it become a temptation whenever he cooks and you're in this strict diet and you're fighting between doing what's right and good for you and just doing what you feel like is going to give you a momentary pleasure?
No, you gotta kind of take his hard work into consideration. He takes all that time to make these great meals. You at least gotta eat some of it.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to hurt his feelings in the
Exactly.
process, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's understandable. Have you been working out as well? Any other preventative measures?
Yeah. Working out's a broad term. Let's just say I move around a little bit more.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, because you have to keep in mind that your body's going through a transition as well. So weight loss takes time. It's not something that's gonna happen overnight. And you're doing what you're supposed to. Have the doctors told you what they want you to do in reference to this specifically?
Just lose weight.
But I imagine they have given you some type of meal prep plan, how much to work out and such.
If they have, I've probably forgotten it because I didn't pay attention.
Oh, well, I mean, it happens. It happens sometimes. It's tough to be hearing all these negative things coming to you about what's happening with you, and you only have a certain amount of control over the situation. But I mean, the fact that you're working out and you're watching over your eating, that's good. What other issues have you been dealing with the VA other than that? Because
No, that's mainly it.
that's mainly it. Yeah. And have you seek like a second opinion from other doctors? That way you compare and make sure that the VA is telling the truth about certain conditions that you are said to be having?
Well, you don't really want to do that because the VA is tied with most of the other hospitals, so doctors will talk. So, I mean, everybody talks, so I mean, next thing you know, what you tell one doctor, because there's no privacy no more when it comes to doctors.
Oh, how so?
Well, I went to, they have this thing called, in the VA, when you go to a doctor, they put down all your notes, but they show every other doctor. It's none of their business. What I tell one doctor is what I tell one doctor. If it has nothing to do with the diagnosis, the other doctor don't need to know nothing about it. But in their minds, doctor needs to know everything that another doctor discussed with you. And I think that's totally wrong.
Oh, so based on what I'm gathering here, you basically feel like this new VA system where they notate everything that is discussed between you and the doctor is a way of just lack of privacy?
Oh, definitely.
So
I
you
don't know it's a new way, but I'm sure it is.
Yeah, because everybody could see what you're going through. Every doctor could see the other.
Well, it could be more than doctors. It could be anybody who has access to the system. They whine about the Social Security numbers. Well, everybody has them.
Yeah.
So it makes no difference. Everybody has everything that you tell these doctors anymore.
Do you think there will be a better way for them to do these without giving everyone else access?
Sure. If you go see a doctor about a broken foot, your general doctor would need to know that. But if you go see they need to know about the foot was broken. If you go to see a psychiatrist, they just need to know, the general doctors know that they saw a psychiatrist, they do not need to know what was discussed. But they put what was discussed in there, they claim in generic form, but now, they, kind of, open up the world.
Yeah, about your issues, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm so sorry that you're going through all of
Well,
this.
it's not, you can't be sorry, because I
Mhm.
mean, this is who you work for, so,
Mhm.
you can't fight City Hall.
That's true.
You just have to learn to accept it, and we have to learn to accept it. You have to learn to accept it,
Mhm.
and then we gotta figure out, what City Hall's gonna do.
Yeah. Will there be anything that you will personally change about this whole process if you were a doctor?
Well, see, I don't think a doctor can do it. I think it's higher up in what people like to call the bean counters.
Mm.
We're talking about the administrative side. Sure, the administrative side, like I just said,
Mm.
everybody does not need to know what you've been doing. What you go see one doctor for, what you see another doctor for. The only one needs to be able to see it is your primary doctor, and they should be the ones who will be able to digest and then reach out and ask questions if it pertains to the patient. But they don't need to know everything exactly that was that was going on,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to the mental health part.
Yeah, that's very true actually, and is something that it needs to be worked on, and the people that do have access need to get a hold of complaints or issues such as the one that you are going through yourself at this particular moment. I wanted to thank you for opening up to me about this issue that you're struggling with at the moment. Thank you for being so understanding that this is not something you have overall control over, and for allowing me to just gather more information and be able to learn a little bit more about the VA system. Thank you so much. Any particular questions or concerns you may have in reference to this interview or such?
No, ma'am. You have a nice weekend.
Thank you. You do so too. Have a wonderful one.